Hi, you guys, and welcome back. All right, so today I have a bread recipe for you guys, and I've never made it before. I don't know how it's going to turn out, as in like taste wise. I'm sure it'll turn out fine, but this is something I've been wanting to try, and I don't know why I haven't yet. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make some pumpernickel bread, but I have to do it the lazy way. This time I have a numb hand and a sore arm, and I am not able to roll the dough out myself this time. So I'm going to make it in the bread machine. Only the dough part. I'm not going to cook it in the bread machine because I want to take it out, form it into a nice ball, put it in my Dutch oven, and make it into a bread bowl. I have a whole bunch of leftover spinach dip and nothing to eat with it. So I'm going to make a bread bowl for it. All right, that's the plan for today. So let's get baking and make some pumpernickel bread. All right, so to get started, get your bread pan from your bread machine, and you're going to add all of the following in order. So you're going to start with 2 eggs lightly beaten with a fork, 3/4 cups of warm water, 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of honey, 3 tablespoons of skim milk powder, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of caraway seeds, not tablespoons, 2 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons of instant coffee, and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Next, you're going to grab a separate bowl, and I have 1.5 cups of bread flour in it, and I'm adding 3/4 cups of whole wheat flour and 3/4 cups of rye flour. And then I'm just going to whisk that together until they are all, uniform, all mixed together. Then I'm going to take this and put it into the bread pan with all the wet ingredients, and I'm just going to spread it out with my fingers to make sure it covers all of the wet ingredients. Then I'm going to sprinkle in 1 3/4 teaspoon of yeast. Once I've done that, I'm ready to put it in the bread machine. So I take it to my bread machine. I use the raw dough option, not the leavened dough, and it should only take roughly 20 to 30 minutes for it to mix the dough and be ready to use. Once your dough is ready, you're going to lightly flour your work surface, and you're going to take the dough out of your bread machine bread pan, and you're going to put it on your table or your counter, and you're just going to give it a quick kneading, only for about like 30 seconds. You're just going to get some of the air out of it, and you're going to shape it into a ball, and then you're going to put it into a lightly greased bowl, and you're going to cover it with some plastic wrap and some tea towels, and you're going to let it rest for probably an hour, probably 2 hours. Yeah, let's go with 2 hours, and it should more than double in size. So now that my dough is ready, as you can see, it has doubled in size. It's probably a little bit bigger, but it's also kind of sticky still. So I just pushed it down, let all the air out of it. Just going to roll it up into a ball, and then I'm going to put it on my table. But of course, I'm going to flour my table first because it is quite sticky. And I'm going to just knead it a little bit and add a little bit more flour. And then I'm going to kind of shape it. So you flatten it out, but you don't roll it out. You just flatten it out enough that you can fold it into 3, and then you turn it about 1/4 of a turn and you roll it up. And then you tuck the rest of the edges under and form a tight ball. While I'm doing this, I have my Dutch oven in my oven, the Dutch oven pot, my bread pot. I have it in the oven, and both the pot and my oven are heating up to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're waiting for that to heat up. Now that my dough is in a nice little ball, I have some parchment paper that is cut to fit inside of my Dutch oven. I sprinkle a little bit of cornmeal on it just to keep the bread from sticking, and it just kind of keeps it up off the bottom of the pot a little bit so it doesn't burn as easily. All right, so once I have my parchment paper ready. I just put my ball of dough on it, and then I'm going to score the top of my bread. So I'm making a bread bowl. I'm going to score a circle around the top of it, almost like I'm almost ready to like cut the top off of the bread bowl to fill it. So you're just scoring it so that part will rise just a little bit higher when it's baking. All right, so my Dutch oven is super hot. I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of cornmeal, and then I'm going to put my ball of dough, my bread into the Dutch oven with the parchment paper. Then I'm going to put the lid on and put it in the oven. I also forgot to mention in the oven, I have a pan of water in there that is helping to create extra moisture in the oven so that my bread doesn't get too dry. All right, so it's going to go in and bake for approximately 25 to 30 minutes. At that point, I'm going to check it, and if it starts to look brown and cooked, I'm going to just tap on it and it should sound hollow. So I think it was about the 30-minute mark. It was done. This is what it looks like. I took it out and I've been letting it cool a little bit so that I can handle it. And it's beautiful. The color is nice. It sounds hollow, but yet it's still soft and still has that nice bread crust on it. All right, so now that it's cooled, I am going to cut the top off of it and kind of make a hole in the middle, not all the way through. Think of a bowl. A bowl doesn't have a hole in the bottom. So cut out some of the bread from the center, and you're going to just chop it up into little pieces that you can use to dip into whatever dip you want to put in your bread bowl, or if you want to put like seafood chowder or something in it, then go for it. You can fill it with whatever you want. Today, I'm putting some leftover spinach dip in my bread bowl, and then I'm going to use all the little pieces that I just cut up, and I'm going to eat my spinach dip with it. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. It turned out so great. It is really like soft and fluffy on the inside. The outside has, well, it did have a nice hard crust, but because it sat for a little while, it's a little softer now. But it cut really well. It makes a really great bread bowl. I filled it with my spinach dip. I didn't show you guys how I made it because it was leftover spinach dip. I'll do it in another video for you guys. But overall, I think it turned out really well. The only thing I don't like, okay, I like it, but I don't, the flavor. I like the flavor except for the caraway seeds in it. I've never used caraway seeds, and this recipe says to add caraway seeds, and I think it ruined it. I'll still eat it. I still like the flavor besides those. But the next time I make it, I absolutely will not add those, add caraway seeds to it. So besides that, fantastic. Love it. I will do it again. So that's it for today's recipe. It was a pretty easy one. And that's it. Okay, so remember to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Thank you guys all so much for joining me for today's video. And I will see you all next week for my next recipe.